Okay, there we
We're
go.
live. Let's do this.
Here we go. Welcome, friends, to the next live reality games podcast. Today, we have some very special guests. We are talking Survivor BC Season
Woo!
7. We have some deep
Woo!
dives. Yes, very exciting season. In case you did not get to see it, this was filmed live a couple weeks ago. Am I correct?
Mhm.
I am your co host, Kirk, and with me today is Steven. Steven, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be here again, Kirk. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're my one of my favorite co-hosts, and I'm so excited right now. I'm a little giddy because the rumored Big Brother cast is probably true for American Big Brother, so I'm a little excited. I kind of want to talk about that. But today we are talking about Jenny and Keenan from Survivor BC Season 7, and we are talking to Jenny, who placed in 7th, and Keenan, who was directly after in 6th place. Jenny, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing super good. I was kind of nervous, but I'm glad everything worked out, and I'm here, and I'm excited to talk about my game. And hi,
Hey, Jenny.
Keenan.
I
How are
am
you doing,
sorry that
Keenan?
I'm doing as awesome as ever. It feels really good to not only talk to the live host for the very first time, but to reconnect with Jenny as well. Who, God damn, I should have played that idol on you.
I'm so happy to hear that, Keenan, but that's way down the line. We're going to get there. I have that question
Okay.
too.
Mhm.
Why did you not do that? But I'm always curious how you guys got cast. Now, Jenny, I'm assuming, let's talk about yours. Do you want to just fill everybody in on your first season of BC? What season was it? How did you place? And were you recruited for this season?
So, season 2, it was up in the mountains. I basically knew Jaira through my ex-boyfriend, and he went to school with Jaira's sister, and then he was like, can you guys come play? Like, I need some people. So we were like, okay, let's go. So played season 2, didn't know what I was getting into. It was really fun. I think I got voted out 10th. I don't remember if I made jury or not because I didn't watch my season. I was so salty. I was so upset. So I was like, you know what? No, forget it. And then I guess, yeah, that's how that happened. And then I guess I did get recruited for season 7. Yeah, Jaira asked me. I don't really remember when, like springtime. And yeah, and then I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Cause like he asked me before, like years before, like, would you want to play again? I thought, maybe not. And then for some reason, just this time around, I was ready.
That's so cool, Jenny. I totally watched your season and I feel like an idiot because I heard a rumor before I played in season 5.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think my location was your location.
Ooh,
I think. Yeah,
but
it was super fun.
was it like super sunny and not all snowed over?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. It's a good spot. It's a good area.
When there's no snow. So
Yeah.
if you want to see this location in snow, watch season 2 on YouTube. If you want to see it in nice summer weather, watch season 5.
Good. There you go.
And Keenan, how did you find out about Survivor BC? How did you get connected and how did you get cast?
Well, actually, it was springtime 2015. There had been 2 episodes out of Survivor Kanata. It was season 3, the one Tyler won. And Kanata, I'm thinking that's a little area in that's like a subsidy area of Ottawa, Ontario. So it got me hooked. I'm thinking this is in Ontario. It's somewhere in BC, and it was called Kanata for some reason. I don't remember if I clarified with Jaira or not, but the thing that I was hooked into it, and I was 19 watching at the time. Um, I'm definitely thinking Tyler's a sadistic villain, and I was actually rooting for the person he voted out second. I was rooting for the person who voted out second, and I'm like, this guy's got challenges. What the hell are they doing? And so fast forward to August 2015, that same year. I'm at the water park. It's a little crew outing for people working at. I worked at McDonald's at the time. It's a little crew outing, and Tyler also works at a separate McDonald's. They're doing a crew outing, and I run into him there. I'm like, I noticed him. Who doesn't notice a scrawny guy who's over 6 feet? And I just noticed him. I'm like, you're the guy on Survivor BC. I pointed it out, and he even said in your interview that I talked his ear off, and we just talked Survivor, and we later knew each other at college, and we interacted here and there. Like, we weren't overly buddies, but I definitely feel that when Survivor BC happened, it gave us a good opportunity to connect more, even though I tried to vote him out 3 times, all efforts for naught. But the big thing was what I did was I ended up I applied in like late 2019, early 2020. Had the interview with Gyra in January, got cut last day of January. Bummer. I get this email in June saying, Jesus, are my teeth that yellow? Frick. I knew having that Coca-Cola at work was a bad idea. No,
You're great.
You're doing fine.
So in June, I get this email saying there's a few spots open now. People have dropped out, and so COVID-19 actually was a miracle for me. It's why it's turned into actually quite an awesome year, even though the rest of the world's gone to hell. And I ended up just saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And I went in with the attitude that I had the $500 already written for me, similarly to how Richard Hatch said that his first time playing in the very first season, the very first episode, in his first confessional.
So coming into the game, what was your mindset, especially when you saw the rest of the cast being revealed? Because I imagine for Jenny, that was a big kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm the only female player here.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I feel like everybody had time to do their homework. They watched, the past seasons. They're also like huge fans of the actual show Survivor. I'm a big fan of Survivor too, but not that big of a fan. Like, I haven't seen every season. I was actually like vacationing sort of with my family, so I had like Survivor was not on my mind. And the day that my sister left was the next day, like I was gonna play Survivor. So like my mind wasn't really there. And then when I got there, I was like, okay, this is fun, this is cool. And then everybody, reveals their, themselves. And I noticed that I'm the only girl. And I'm totally fine with playing with boys. Like, that's totally fine. I can do it. But I immediately like started I guess just like laying back, like laying low. And that was like my very first instinct to do, which is to lay low, which is funny.
Well, I imagine for you it was even harder because you're one of 4 returning players, and that itself just comes with a big target, right? Because all the 10 other people are looking at you saying, okay, there's 4 of them, 10 of us.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't really consider myself like that big of a returnee. Season 2 was so long ago. Everybody else played like season 3 and season 5, so like 2 years apart or whatever. So I had like a big gap of like me playing Survivor and then not playing Survivor. And yeah, but people will see me as a returnee and a girl and a threat to win, but nobody wanted to take me.
And Keenan, for yourself, what was kind of your mentality stepping into the game?
Oh, I was going to plan to lie, cheat, and steal, but the thing that my parents tell me at home is, Keenan, you're not a good liar. And truth be told, I'm not. I wear my feelings on my sleeve. And I didn't find that out early in the game. Early in the game, I really wanted to I went in there for the whole time just wanting to be me, the person I am. And, first thing that happens is we take off our blindfolds, and I see some of the people I'm working with. And then initially, I'm eyeing Luke to work with. Tyler had told me previously before the season aired that he's got a date with Jara as well, and when I told him I had a date with Jara, and so I'm kind of ready to work something with him. If we're on the same tribe, we were not. I was on Thyatira, he was Ephesus, but I had Luke as well because I really respected his gameplay in season 4. Like I found him a very relatable guy. I found him fun, found him cool, and I'm like, I want to be friends with this guy. And we interacted a bit on night 0. He was actually interacting heavily with Tyler as well. He's definitely getting some information with them, so I knew they were going to be working together.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to lay low at least a little bit, but I'm saying to the cameras as we're setting up camp, like I'm putting myself out there in a position where I'm already the helpful one. Like me and Jenny, we actually set the tarp up together. I think that was us.
Yeah.
And I wanted to really get myself out of my element. So I didn't even sleep on the tarp. I slept on the dirt in my sleeping bag, and I slept like a baby on the dirt. Actually, it wasn't hard for me at all. It was easy, and so we're dividing the tribes, and honestly, my gameplay ended up just shifting to, you know what? Just show your tribe you're going to do whatever it takes to win, and you would not and it was kind of a strategic thing doing that first. Are we pretty much up to speed on the first big site? Like, can we go there already, or are you ready to ask that? I want to consent.
Well, so before we get to, I assume we're talking about the Jeff vote out.
No.
First challenge where
First challenge. Let's just go. Yeah, first challenge. You're divided up. You're Thyatira. You're the Black Tribe.
Yes.
You have the opening challenge where you have to create the longest chain of clothing that you have on you, and to win the first reward challenge. Go.
We'll rewind a little bit. Initially, when I see Luke was the first person on a tribe, and I'm like, okay, I hope I draw a little pink. We could be kind of Pink Boys thing. Tyler's on there too. I'm like, Pink Boys thing, and then slit Tyler's throat because he's the mastermind. But then I'm talking a little bit with Jenny prior to on night 02. So being on a tribe with her was also a really good thing. But then when I drew that when Jara gave me the black buff, I saw the tribe, and I'm like, holy crap, we are the stronger tribe. We are the bulls. Like I could see we were all, I felt we were fiscally stronger as is. I didn't think I was one of the beefcakes, but I thought I was I thought I could contribute at least, but I was the rough and the diamond per se. Everyone else was freaking awesome. And but honestly, I felt like I definitely had a little bit, I wanted to prove my worth to the tribe as soon as I could. Kirk, where'd Kirk go?
Kirk's been frozen for a while. Just continue. He'll pop back in.
All right. So, basically, my mentality at that time was basically, do what I can to contribute, and they would not accuse me one single bit, not once, of not putting in whatever I could. I would not be accused of not doing my fair share in that challenge. And if also at the same time, I want to have some fun. I want to have fun. So you kill many birds with just one stone. And that's really what it was. It was actually a strategic thing.
I just remember from watching the video, it seemed that Jenny, you still had your jacket on at this point, and Keenan has nothing on. You went no holds back really fast, really hard. We're like, wait, you still have t-shirts on.
I'm so glad that we had a team member that was that dedicated, and I knew from then on our tribe is pretty good. We're solid. We're gonna move forward together, and it's gonna be a good time.
So just fast forwarding through that first day, you dominate all the reward challenges. Run through your impressions or understanding of your tribe and each person at this point. Jenny, do you want to start? And feel free to tell us what your thoughts of Keenan and how that evolved through the day.
Okay, so yeah, after all those wins, we were all feeling really good. Should I go through each person, or I guess I could just say whatever, but. So for me, I knew that I had to align myself with somebody that was playing the game, that knew how to play the game. I knew they had to be good in challenges and very strategic. And obviously, my very first alliance was with Knight. Even though Keenan came up to me saying, "I want Knight and Aiden gun," I thought, no, let me talk to Knight. So so like when I had that conversation with Knight, it was very good, and we made a final two. And then when I told Keenan, you're very okay with like taking the target off Knight and then going with somebody else. I don't know if that meant that you really wanted to work with me, or you were just trying to play like a fluid game. Mitch, he's a funny guy. Like, I love Mitch so much. I love his giggle and his laugh. And but I think out of everybody, he was the one that I least trusted, and like the person that I was like okay with like voting off. I'm not sure why. I don't think we just like he kind of coupled up with Keenan pretty quickly. And then Andrew and Aiden, I really wanted to work with them. We had the tarp 4, like that was like a thing. But obviously that didn't work out. And then Keenan, I remember saying in a confessional, I think I like saw it too, that I was gonna bring you and Knight to the end, and we kind of made it. It ended up being us 3 against the other tribe, but that's what I wanted. Like, it was like you and Knight and me. So I mean, I got there with you guys, but not the full way. But I think everybody had really good vibes. For me, though, like I had to like lie low. Like I really wanted to not have a big target on my back, just being the only girl. And I think that's, a huge target. So yeah, like my first initial instinct, something that was very consistent, was just like, let's try, like let's follow, like let's not let's try not to like make any big moves or anything like that, because that's just gonna. I know some people like the word resume, some people don't like the word resume, but yeah, I would have just added to my resume, and I can't really have that. So yeah.
Keenan, do you want to give your thoughts as well as, and also I know you played a much more aggressive game early, so if you want to kind of talk through that a bit too.
Okay, well, it was go hard or go home for me personally, and I could tell off the bat. I didn't know Knight was a poker player. I didn't know a lot of things actually, but I could tell he definitely was a person who knew the game, even though he's only really played a lot of orgs. Like, he hasn't watched the show, he hasn't divulged heavily into the show. I think he's seen a little bit of it, but like whenever I've brought Survivor up, when I was just out in Kelowna recently, and whenever I tried bringing up Survivor with him, he didn't know a lot of answers about what I was saying. But Tyler obviously did. So we're divided, and honestly, my initial reaction when we're hanging up the tribe flag, I go to Jenny, I try to whisper to her where no one can really read our lips, and I'm like, and Andrew's there too, so I wanted to. I had a decent connection with Andrew as well, so I thought, and we wanted to work something. I thought so, and I knew Jenny is a returning player, would not turn down help. Jeff is a returning player, would not turn down help, so it was going to be that 4. Then, however, but I'm more enthusiastic about working with Jenny a little bit more. She's a lot more cheerleader-like, a lot more enthusiastic. She's definitely was the little bit more out there one like me. So if anyone, I hate to say this, was gonna get a nice little red target, as opposed to me, it was going to be Jenny, even though I was definitely a lot more out there. And honestly, it was Mitch who came to me, like whispered to me. We mouth words to each other. So cool. Mitch actually pitched the idea to me. We worked together. Mitch turned out to be secretly targeting me along with Knight. not together, but separately. And so I go off to Jeff, say, we have a little 5 going. Me, you, Savage, and Andrew. We called him Savage after our play on Pearl Islands. And Mitch and Jenny, well, the returnees thing going on, and just like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. And he's a lot more silent, but and to clear something up, it was one of the other members, like we all gave each other nicknames on Thyatira. It was one of the other members who made that they have 3 gay guys comment, so it was not a bad idea getting naked. It was not me who pioneered that.
Yeah.
So Tyler could take that to the bank, even though he was on Ephesus. So that's what Tyler said, not me. I have no preconceived notions. So yeah.
But Keenan, do you think that really works? Do you think that would really actually work?
Very silent. Is your mic off?
Oh. Can you guys not?
Whoa. Oh, Jesus.
He was just wondering. He was just saying, "Do you think that would really work?"
Giving Nick like me being naked, I definitely think it helped. Obviously, there's a bigger line. Like there's a bigger line than what was my underwear, obviously, but still, I was committed. So the Thyatira Alliance was not officially born yet. Like I was definitely making deals with a lot of people. I go off to Jenny secretly. Like we're looking for a little bit of either money or the idol. I can't remember which one. I go to Jenny and I say that my alliance making definitely did not work. I was definitely making myself a target where if we lost immunity, my torch was out first. If we lost immunity, I'm just saying, my torch was going out first.
So
after
let me pivot real fast because you eventually do lose immunity. It's the only challenge you lose in the full 3 days of dominance, and Jeff goes out, not you. Can you both of you kind of walk through how that happened?
Well, I guess I can go first. So it was the challenge where everybody was blindfolded, and I just remember being taken to the side, and somebody whispered in my ear, like, Jeff, it's gonna be Jeff. Jeff is the vote going out. So I was like, okay. So go back on the mat, and that was it. And then like you go back to camp, and basically everybody was on the same page. Everybody was like, let's vote out Jeff. Yeah.
But then everybody didn't vote out.
I can definitely justify that. That's definitely did what you saw is what you got. That happened for sure. Jenny is right. So,
okay.
but yes, I actually previously I got information from Jenny saying I want Jeff out. We were looking for like Monopoly money or the idol, and she just said I changed my mind. She said I changed my mind. I want Jeff out. And so
actually then.
So it's definitely your move. I think it was your move because you said I feel like Jeff's made it really far in the previous game.
Okay,
Spoiler,
yeah.
we got spoilers.
So wait.
So I went up tonight.
Wait.
You want to win? You want to win? You want to win?
Let's be clear. No spoilers for season 5 whatsoever. So Keenan does not know what he's talking about. Keenan was not at season 5.
Is that decent? So that was our mentality at the time, and so I figured, I try my ass off in the challenge regardless. Like I'm a little nervous in this immunity challenge. I know I'm taking a little bit of breaks between the topic, but I want to go for the game, like start to finish, point zero to point where I was voted out. Immunity. I'm nervous because the guy on Ephesus, Matt, who's doing the fire, he's a guy in plaid, and that spells survivalist. The guy in plaid out in the wilderness, I'm fucked. So I've got to. So I'm relying on Knight to get this puzzle done, to just close this puzzle, get this spelled. I wanted to just shout the puzzle to him, but and so he spells it, and I'm on Flint. Miraculously, we start the fire and we win. And later that night, the official Thyatira Alliance is born. And Knight had been talking to Jenny, so Jenny's in this plan. But later the night, Mitch and I go off in the woods. We talk, we configure, and I tell Mitch that there's actually a new plan in place. We're gonna be a solid 2 all the way to the end, and we're gonna align with Knight and Jenny. And we're going to do what it takes to vote Jeff off because Jenny wants Jeff. I made sure, because I wanted to work with you really bad, Jenny. Mm-hmm. I made sure that if I pitched Jeff as much as I could, we worked together, and I knew that would keep you close. And not as Miracle had it, Knight configured with the plan too. Knight was on board. Like Knight definitely put that name out there, and Knight had to use the bathroom and was caught in a confessional. And I see him go off, and I'm like, I want to go walk, see what's going on. I didn't know there was a confessional. All of a sudden, I go to talk to Knight. I ask can I talk to Knight? They're like, yeah, you can talk to Knight. And so I talked to Knight, and we discussed the plan. Like he's like, were you targeting me? True or false? I'm like, yeah, it's true. I was targeting you, but now I feel that we could actually vibe. We could do things together. And we will vote Jeff off. And I'm skeptical initially, but I mean, Mitch joins us later, and we birthed the Thyatira Alliance. and Jenny was in there. Well, she wasn't there, but she was within the alliance. Like we said, it's us four. It's us four that's going to take it. Even though my ride or die was going to be Mitch, it was the four of us making that pact.
Okay, who are the four that you're talking about right now?
I swear to God, I cannot hear Kirk. What are you saying?
Who are the four in your alliance? Can you confirm it's you, Mitch, Knight, and Jenny? Is that who you're talking about?
Myself, Mitch, Knight, and Jen. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can hear me, but not Kirk. That's okay.
Funny.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why that vote wasn't unanimous, because everybody was unanimous, but I actually had Andrew. He was actually trying to save me, which was like super sweet of him, because obviously he wanted because he knew that like out of everybody I had the most potential to, I guess, work with Tyler. So he was like, he wanted to bring me into the merge so that I could possibly work with Tyler. So I actually had him kind of helping me out even without me knowing. That's why he voted Keenan, because if Jeff had like a special vote or like, you know, a hidden immunity idol because he just came back from Patmos, then he would be saving. So, you know, all the Jeff votes would be gone and then like null and void, and then it would be Keenan. And so that was like really nice, but I didn't know that until like way after, probably in like jury. And then with Knight's vote, I thought that was so funny. What a genius. I like, my mind wasn't even that like going that hard in the game. Like I think I was playing a very emotional game, but he was playing like that was hilarious and kind of genius, because that's exactly what happened. Is everyone was like, who voted Jenny? And it felt really nice because people like, I could tell like people really had my back. So it was like just yeah, it was just really nice.
So hypothetically, if Jeff did play an idol, it goes to a tie. One vote Jenny, one vote Keenan. What happens
I cannot
then?
hear Kirk. It's like I have my mute button on and I'm watching television. I'm watching Kirk TV and the mute button's on.
To repeat Kirk's question, if Jeff had an idol and Jeff plays the idol and there's one vote Jenny, one vote Keenan, which of you stays and which of you goes?
I'm definitely toast.
I would stay.
So you have that one tribal council and you proceed to just destroy Ephesus, the remainder of the pre-merge. I think one of the conversations that I think all of us have been interested in, like, it seemed like you are all kind of in pairs, right? Keenan, there's you and Mitch. Jenny, there's you and Knight, and there's Aiden and Andrew. Had you lost again, which of those pairs would you have gone with?
Cool. For me, I think I would have gone with Andrew and Aiden, and then I 100% would take Keenan with me. Keenan was always going to be above Andrew and Aiden for me. So yeah, it would have been, Mitch. Sorry.
I'm really curious, guys. Like, if you look at the four that voted together, that voted for Jeff, that was Aiden, the two of you, and Mitchell. So, can you guys hear me right now? Oh, okay. So, why didn't the four of you
I cannot hear
line
Kirk. Can you hear Kirk, Jenny? Because I cannot.
Yeah, I can.
Wait,
Well,
so everyone could hear Kirk but myself?
Yes.
Yes.
What? Why?
Who knows?
Am I that horrible, Kirk?
Interweb.
I'll parrot Kirk's question real fast for you, Keenan. Don't worry.
Yeah, so continue, Kirk, and then we'll just play it back.
So I'm just curious why that, I can never say your tribe's name, why that wasn't the Thyatira 4, the 4 that voted together in the first tribal council. Was it because Knight and Andrew kind of were a little sneaky at that round? Like, I'm just curious why Aiden wasn't in that crew.
Oh. Do you want to relay that back to Keenan? Oh.
Question time.
Frozen? Okay. Well, so you're just asking about how come like that 4 didn't buddy up.
Yeah, exactly. And then kind of run things later on in the game. Because I think there's a Survivor universe where that 4 is the final 4 in
Totally.
some weird parallel dimension.
Okay, I totally feel that. I totally feel that. So Keenan, Kirk is just wondering about like why. I'm sorry, Steve's thing is really funny. So like the people that voted Jeff off, the people that actually like put Jeff's name down, like why
Yes.
didn't we become like the 4 rather
Well,
than like
we didn't become the 4 because we had no idea who wrote down Jeff. Because in our mindset, my mindset at least, bare minimum, I thought Jeff was lying and had the extra vote, planted one on Jenny and planted one on me. And I did damn good at lying. Like
oh
I sucked at lying and reading the others so much that it blew up in my face. And I mean, I literally gave permission to say, whoever wrote my name down, admit it. I'm not mad. Because I mean, it was a failsafe. I mean, there was a vote Jenny in there, so I mean, it's not personal. It's honestly not personal. I wasn't the only other person who got a vote. So had we like the 4 of us there, it may have been a decent
I don't think it would work.
pairing up. Okay, no, definitely wouldn't have worked. But I mean, I actually did have the intention eventually, like I was definitely like Mitch was starting to get some sketchy feelings about Jenny, and God, Kirk, why do you have to be so damn mute? Why? Anyway, but or why does my computer have to be so my iPhone have to be so fucky? Anyway, so what I definitely like, I definitely don't. Looking back now, obviously it didn't work. Aiden and Andrew preferred to polish Tyler's crown rather than their own, so that worked out. And but I mean, Andrew had proposed with me and Mitch prior to Blindside and Jeff Football Alliance, and I'm like, I'm going for that. I think it's definitely good. I mean, I have 2 meat shields with me, 2 tough guys with me, and I'm definitely safe with that. So I was about like, but my strategy shield would then become Knight and Jenny. And if it came down to a really good time, I said in my jury speech, they would get the freaking axe.
Yeah,
And,
I don't think that 4 would have worked out.
no,
No, I don't think so because we had already started coupling up, and like so if your partner or their partner like goes out, then like you're at the bottom of that couple. So, and I don't know why Aiden was never a part of like any like we never really considered Aiden like a serious. Maybe just a number, but he's actually like a really good player. I would love to work with him again. But I think he was just very quiet, especially like at the beginning. So we didn't really like think of that of him as anything.
No, that completely kind of fills that gap for me and makes more sense because I did wonder why you guys didn't seem like a unit after that point.
There's just so much distrust, like especially with the Jenny being put out there and then the Keenan name being put out there. Like that just created a lot of like distrust, mistrust into the but I mean thank goodness that we won more like immunity challenges. But honestly, I feel like it would have been nice to go to more tribal councils just so that we could like solidify like who we're gonna work with and how we're gonna do it. But because we kept winning, like there wasn't a lot of strategy talk. But I was totally okay with that because, you know, I had my own game that I needed to like, you know, kind of lay low for. But
sometimes there's a winner's curse.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's Ephesus was definitely they were a Matt Singh.
Keenan, can you hear me?
Nothing.
Okay, Stephen, for everybody watching, we're having clearly some technical difficulties. Stephen, can you relay to Keenan that we're going to remove him from this chat and he's going to re-add himself.
I'm just hoping.
So hopefully his audio works.
We're going to try something in order to get you to be able to hear Kirk. We're going to remove you from the broadcast and re-add you in hopes that that's the panacea and fixes this problem.
Don't worry, you're not being voted out.
Final 3, congratulations, we did it.
This is what it looks like in Sequester. Yay, we did it! Okay, so here is Keenan back to
Okay.
us.
Is it working?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Was that you speaking, Kirk?
This is me.
Nothing. I think I'm just gonna delete. I'm gonna delete I'm just gonna leave myself, and then I'm gonna try signing back in.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'm
We're gonna
I'm
move.
gonna give it a shot. But
Okay, well, I'll help you out there. So I'm sorry.
While we're going on this, I have one last question. I think for the pre-merge, Jenny, I know you were worried because you were the first person from your tribe to visit the BC market. There, you saw you could purchase an idol for a gold coin, and I believe you came back to camp and initially withheld the information.
Yes, I did. And I really wanted to just hold, I didn't want to tell anybody. I wanted that to be a secret for myself and my allies. But my conscience came over me. Literally everybody kept talking about, oh, this is such a good, we're making bonds, we're making relationships. Nobody, lie to each other because we need to make it to the merge. And so that was my mistake, but I feel like the mistakes that I've made in the game, I don't think there was a lot of repercussions for it. So that was good, but I'm very aware now that you just need to work harder on, keeping secrets and lying. That's definitely not my biggest, my strongest, it's not my strength. So that's why it was really important to me to for my number one ally to be very good at this game and to be good at lying and things like that. But the thing with Knight though, I'm going off a little bit, but the thing with Knight though, he came back to me saying that he said this, he said that to so many different people. He was running all these lies, and then I just remember telling him I think you need to calm it down with kind of being aggressive towards people. I don't think it's gonna work on the Pink Boys. I'm talking merge now. He was being very aggressive or to them, and I didn't know how. So that was just very interesting. But yeah, I think next time I also want to play a bit of a chaotic game for if I get to play again. Yeah, I have ideas. I'm really excited.
That's exciting. I want to watch you again for sure.
Thank you.
Is there anything else about the pre-merge either of you like to talk about, or do you want to skip straight to the merge?
I'm down for just merge because we just kept winning.
Steal the bacon. I won a round and lost a round.
I mean, your tribe, I having played that game the prior year and having been manhandled in that game, your tribe beasted that challenge. So congrats. So that was entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good challenge. 10 out of 10 want to do it again, and this time win both my rounds. But Mitch was the hero in that challenge, hands down. He was the only person who had won 3 rounds.
Well, all the boys really.
No, well, everyone else won at least 1 round or 2 rounds. Mitch won 3. And yeah, he was good. But I had fun. There was a numbers challenge, which was pretty cool. We had to build a key as well. The revelation challenge, I sat out because I know I can't really memorize those symbols. I mean, religious symbols aren't my specialty by any chance. So merge comes, yay! And well, I decided when we were in the merge announcement, and Luke got the Patmos thing, and Gyra gave the option hey, one person could take their place. I ended up just saying to Luke, I'll take it, because it helped in 2 reasons. It allowed Luke to eat, and he would thank me a little later, just say, and maybe we could work together, do the thing that I kind of wanted to do. And so I allowed him to eat because he had not eaten much on Ephesus. So they never won any rewards. And there was Pizza Hut. There was a lot of good stuff there. The soda. And so, but it does me as well because I get a clue to the merge idol. I'm looking everywhere. I'm I decided I want to toss this clue in the toilet so no one gets their hands on it.
That was
Like
an
I toss a
decision.
what?
I just think that was an interesting decision to make.
Thanks. Well,
Agreed.
I mean, no one. But I mean, because if anyone dug in my pockets and
It's already
saw
ready.
it, if it
Like
slipped,
that.
it slipped out of my pockets. It just I had to be safe. I wanted to just chuck it. I thought I memorized it enough. I hadn't initially, and so this leads me to the second time I got nude, which was also actually a strategic time because it
Was
also
it?
just kind of a celebratory merge time. So what happened? Knight, Andrew, Tyler, and I are all in a circle. We're kind of just trying to figure where Tyler stands. We're trying to see who from Ephesus is gonna go. Who is gonna go? And and since I'm seen looking for the idol, I'm like I've already kind of got some sort of target off me. So this kind of gets things off me a little bit because I just decide to say out of the blue, I have an idol, but you've seen it already. And I went back, ran into the merge because everyone knew. I thought everyone knew I was looking for the idol, and so I run back just as a joke, just saying I have the idol.
Yep. There you go. There you have it.
And I still can't hear Kirk. Oh, I think I hear Kirk now.
You can?
Kirk now, yay!
Keenan,
Interesting.
okay, I'm gonna pardon my French. I have so many fucking questions.
Oh, your French is pardoned if my nudity is pardoned.
Oh no, it's not.
Okay, but no, don't worry. The clothes stay stitched on if I'm in All Stars. I will pay to get them stitched to my body.
You're not gonna like channel your inner Richard Hatch once again.
Nope. Nope.
My second you kind of just went over my first question. My second question is that its name? Idol.
No, it's
Not by any stretch.
Okay, that's what it sounded like. Like here's the idol.
No, well, because there's been stuff like that. Like there are jokes made during Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers season 35, where they see if he's got an idol and he literally gets him to strip down. So it's just this. So I'm kind of doing things kind of as a bit of a joke, saying I've got the idol.
Okay.
And in second,
yeah. So, here's my question: What's the fallout of this? So we know what happened. We watched it. What's the aftermath? How does your merge tribe react to naked Keenan?
They wondering Knight said I was running the Thyatira tribe, and Tyler immediately called bullshit on that, saying, "This is the guy running the Thyatira tribe."
Yeah, no, it was fine. I don't think it hurt him in any way. Game wise, I think it was just really funny, and it brought people together. Like that was, I guess, the fallout of that. It gave us more moments to talk about later. But yeah,
I'm such a freaking dead man. Oh god.
No, you're fine. So Keenan, let's go back to the real idol. So you had the idol clue. Describe how you located the idol.
I remember I looked at the map and I saw the trees, but I didn't pay too much attention to detail in the trees. I'm bad at memorizing religious symbols. Yeah, I somehow memorized this actual clue to the idol. So
okay.
But we're still at the merge phase. So Mitchell gets voted out. It's not me for some reason, which is good because I wouldn't have made the juries, which would have been a bummer. But Mitch was voted out because, I tried lying to Ephesus saying I had an extra vote from Patmos. I was trying to convince him that we could work together because I had known Tyler before, and I was trying to hardcore convince Tyler that I'm working with him. But he knows when I'm lying. I'm not a good liar, so I knew he would know. And honestly, I feel I was definitely right to target Tyler. He will probably speak on the contrary of this, but he's a good conversationalist. Anyone who doesn't think Tyler's a threat is an idiot. I mean, and then so I configure with the Thyatiras. We're just going to blindside Tyler. We're going to get rid of him. We're going to do this. And Aiden and Andrew seem so on board to the point where they're bragging Tyler's going home. Tyler's going home. Andrew was bragging that. Like he was chanting that while the Ephesus members went off, and he's like, "Yeah, woohoo!" And Jenny, that is what happened, right? That he was actually cheering Tyler's going home, right?
I think so.
Oh, that clarifies. And when Mitch is voted out, for some reason, Aiden, who flipped on Mitch, he looked at me, he's like, shook his head, saying, "I didn't flip." And honestly, I actually thought Jenny and Knight flipped because there were people there who knew Mitch was my closest ally, and I had lost my ride or die. It was the landmine that exploded my game and left me scattered. I was pieces. What was left of me was a torso, a right arm, and my head, and I had to grip myself through the battlefield. And fast forward to so this inspires me to look for the idol. This makes me realize I'm probably going to be next because my ride or die's gone. So I memorized the second tree. It's the second biggest tree. I look a little closer. I look at the tree pattern. There's the 4 trees. I dig a little bit in the second one, and I'm like, yes, I have the idol. I found the idol right there. And I'm like, yay. I'm so giddy. I'm so happy. I'm like, initially I'm wanting to keep it for myself, and Andrew approaches me, says, I'll go hunt for the idol because I want to get revenge on the people who flipped on us, even though he's one of the flippers. And honestly, I'm not knowing who to believe. I feel like I'm on an island of myself. I'm not Thyatira or Ephesus at this point. In this temporary moment, I'm not with anybody. I'm a lone wolf. I wanted to be alone. I was mad. I just wanted to just work by myself and just make it another day, really. I was so bad.
Yeah,
and
so Keenan, that totally sounds like where a person is at that moment when you get blindsided, you don't know what happens. I have a hypothetical for you. So if you had found the idol prior to Mitchell being voted out, did you know Mitchell was the other name? Could you have saved him with the idol had you found it?
Not by any stretch. Mitch's name being put in the urn brought some suspicion to me. I'm thinking, if the 5th vote is Mitch, we're fucked. I'm hoping that just stops at 4 Mitch, and then the next 2 are Tyler. But Jara's got a massive boner for reading the votes of the person who doesn't go home first.
Yeah, he's like Survivor
Not that
psychic.
it's a bad thing. Not that it's a bad thing. It's a decent thing, actually. I mean, when it becomes that pattern over a while, it's like, I'm kind of expecting who's going home now. Come on.
I
can't complain. I can't complain, though.
For me, when Mitch's name was being called out, I was actually very excited. I'm not sure if in the videos, you can see me maybe smiling or something. I mean, it sucked a lot, but for me, I was kind of happy that Mitch was being voted out because I really still wanted to play with Tyler. I wanted Tyler in the game. So I was quite happy with that. But then because they were such a tight 4, it was hard to stick yourself into it. So that's why I had to stick with my own people. But I would have loved to work with Tyler.
And so Jenny, Keenan talked a little bit about you get back to camp after Mitch gets blindsided, and Andrew and Aiden are both denying that they flipped. And there was some really, I talked a little bit in the night interview about this. There's a lot there. You have this fascinating conversation. I think it's with you and Andrew and you and Aiden, where they're just denying it. And you're just like, oh, I didn't flip. And you're saying you didn't flip. So you're saying it's Knight and the other one? Can you kind of talk through what was going on in your head as all this fallout is happening?
Yeah, sure. That was such a big fallout. So I had a conversation with Knight, and he was like, I didn't flip. I knew I didn't flip, and I trusted him. So it had to have, and it couldn't have been Keenan for sure. So
TKO.
We knew it was Andrew and Aiden. Although Aiden did convince me at one point that it wasn't him because they just kept denying. And I'm not sure if that was good for their game. They were literally just doing what Tyler told them to do, which is just deny it the whole time. Don't say, anything, just deny. And you find that out later. But for us, we really did want to work with them. So if they just had told the truth, I feel like we could have worked with that, but they just kept denying it, and it was frustrating night, obviously. And for me, it was just like, okay, so like what now? Like what are we supposed to do with this? Because like there's no trust. So yeah, basically what was going through my mind was like, okay, like I'm not sure if I can work with them. So it was basically just like for me, it was like, okay, Knight and Keenan, Knight and Keenan. I don't care if Andrew and Aiden are gone. And like, we'll figure out a way. But yeah.
Well, I feel like this next vote really reflects where both of you are at. Keenan, you end up voting for Tyler. You're the lone Tyler vote. And Jenny, you're part of this Aiden blindside. And then Tyler, Aiden, Andrew are off trying to blindside Dylan, which fails. Can you kind of walk through how you both ended up with casting those votes as you did?
Yeah, so for me, like, we got so lucky. It was like, an olive branch from Dylan. It was super sweet. Knight and I were like getting along with Dylan a lot. And so I don't know what his thinking was through that, but he decided to tell us the actual plan. And the actual plan was to vote out Aiden. And for me, I actually told Keenan to vote Tyler, like, so because I didn't want to destroy the trust I had with Dylan. So I told Keenan to vote Tyler. And I didn't tell him the real Aiden plan. Just because Dylan told us like not to tell anybody, like this is just between us. But also like I wanted to like kind of protect Keenan from all the drama that was going to unfold. Because it kind of takes a target off Keenan's back, because everyone will just think, oh, like he doesn't really know what's going on. Like he's just like, he just voted off Tyler. So I thought maybe like I could protect Keenan in that way.
Well, that's exactly what happened. I have nothing else to say for it, but I went in there confident that Tyler was going to go out. I was initially a little mad, actually, but then Jenny calmed me down and just said it was Aiden and Andrew who flipped. And on my mind, I'm just thinking, you know what? Good riddance. Good freaking riddance. You lied about flipping, and you had no reason to lie about flipping. Sarah Lucina lied about flipping, and she still won. No, Sarah Lucina was honest about flipping and still won. So take a leaf out of that book, okay? Take a leaf out of Lucina's book. But I mean, honestly, I honestly just didn't want to keep up the drama any longer. Andrew and Tyler were dead men walking at that point. I'm just like, finally, some payback.
I mean, hypothetically, let's say Andrew and Aiden are very upfront. Like, yes, we flipped, and here's why. Would they still be dead to both of you, or would you still kind of say, no, let's salvage this. Let's try to target someone from Ephesus again?
It depends on like, would they have said that they're working closely with Tyler? Or would they just say, oh, we just flipped, we didn't know? Okay, well, in that case, if they honestly, I do believe that if they did tell us the truth right then and there when we asked them to, I do believe that we could have worked together. But like those ties were so severed that like there was no way. But like I do regret like not working with them more, because like the Pink Tribe, like they just picked us off one by one, so we needed them. We did, but yeah.
It's what happens when you want to polish someone else's crown instead of your own. You do what's best for their game and not yours. And you know what? We ended up paying the price, but they broke our fall. They broke our fall. They were on the jury first, so they had. You know what? Lying is part of the game, and that's how it works. That's okay. But to lie, like I didn't flip. I'm like, why lie? Why, when you're being confronted about it, face to face, we know someone lied. We know in that little circle someone did. And they had the fucking nerve to say, just, can the two people who flipped just come up front? And honestly, like, that's what made me feel really even more like just outcasted. But You know, I didn't deliver a hand in voting out Aiden. I did deliver a hand in voting Andrew out, and in my voting confessional, I even said this is for Mitch. And
So
I thought
I
we were gonna, yeah. Sorry.
I do wonder. I don't know if you were going to touch on this, Stephen, but hearing the passion in your voice, Keenan, like you still have it. I do wonder if playing emotionally the rounds that you voted out Aiden and Andrew, even if you didn't, and maybe, I don't put it totally on you. They were clearly lying to you guys, but I do feel like you almost needed Aiden and Andrew, or just one of them, to get to the end of the game. I
Yeah.
really do.
Well,
Do you want to talk on that a little bit?
honestly, I could have used them, and Andrew was trying to get me to play my idol on Aiden, so Dylan would go home. In hindsight, that actually does seem kind of like a better idea, because an Ephesus goes home otherwise, and I mean, and it's more fluid of a game instead of a pick off one by one for Thyatira. Like Andrew, and if they get interviewed next, they can't. There is no hole to get out of. They put us in that position. They were the ones who fucked us over. They didn't think twice. I know they're friends with Tyler, but you're in that game to win for yourself. You're not playing. You're not Amber, who's playing for another person. You're not Amber.
Yeah, I myself, I think I played quite an emotional game myself. Like I didn't have a lot of strategy. I wasn't like when people were like analyzing people, like when you come into challenges, you're analyzing who people are talking to. Like my mind definitely was like not in it for some reason. So for me, like for some reason I just was playing very emotionally. But the thing is I didn't create the bonds that I hoped for. Like I feel like I could have, I don't know, maybe snuck myself into like the pink tribe, because like Stevie was really considering working with me. Dylan, you've seen, like already has kind of like this mistrust, because like he would have been voted out that Aiden vote. Luke, I have no idea. I think he's a great guy. I would have loved to work with him. But yeah, like I just wish I made more like stronger bonds just by like, you know, having personal conversations and things like that. I think that was my mistake of not trying hard enough. And then obviously voting out Andrew and Aiden, that was a huge mistake, but we were all very emotional, and I don't think we didn't see, like we couldn't work with them. We didn't see that. So we thought because Dylan like was, you know, like talking to us, maybe we could, you know, work with him, but there was no way. Yeah.
is there anything else about the Andrew vote off the final 8 you'd like to talk about, or do you mind going to the final 7?
I don't mind going to final 7.
Final 7.
Pretty simple.
So first off, Knight takes Stevie and Tyler away to be at the hotel overnight, leaving just Dylan and Luke back at camp with y'all. Did anything happen, or did you try to strategize or work them at all during that away time?
I did try to talk to Dylan, and we talked about, like, you know, do you trust Tyler? Who do you trust the most? And he said that he trusted Stevie. So like, would you mind voting out Luke if that were to ever like come up? And he said, yeah, like I would take Stevie over Luke. So I thought that was an interesting conversation, but they went to bed pretty early, and I was like awake just trying to like think about like everything that happened and like how to move forward. But they went to sleep early, so that kind of tells you like you know, how tight they are and like how much they want to work with you. So I was like, I don't know if I can like work them anymore.
And at this time, you both have idols, right?
Well, Jenny, can you walk through finding the gold coin and everything that happened to your idol? Because that happens this round.
Yeah, it did. So I saw Stevie from afar, like looking for money, and in my mind I was like, you know what, like I can't let this guy find like $500 or else he's gonna have like an advantage. So I go over there and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? And he's like, oh, like just looking for some, you know, finding some bucks here and there. And I was like, okay. And then I don't know how I like fell upon it, but like Stevie passed it right away. And I just remember looking down and I saw this white piece of thing in the ground. And so I kind of like waited for him, but I didn't wait long enough. And that was like another mistake, which was picking it up. And then I'm pretty sure like Stevie saw me picking something up, and I like put it in my pocket, and then he was like, "Did you find something?" And I was like, "No, I thought I did, but so bad. That was like such a big mistake. I should have just like put my foot over it or something, or covered it and then came back later. So that was like a huge mistake on my part, because clearly idols for them, especially like the old school players, like idols for the Pink Tribe, for like Luke, Dylan, Stevie, and Tyler. So like they don't like idols at all, so they will try to flush it whenever they can. And I didn't really like, get like, I didn't what's it called? I don't know. I didn't vibe, like I didn't see that like that it was like such a big problem for them. So I thought like maybe I got away with it, but I definitely didn't, and I got blindsided. But the funny thing is, I had a feeling like that it was going to be me, so I thought maybe I should play it. But then the last conversation I had was with Knight, and Knight was telling me not to play the idol so that we could use it for next time. So like I'm a very loyal player, so I thought, okay, I guess I won't. And then as soon as Keenan stood up, and we told Keenan, we told you not to play the idol over and over again, but for some reason you felt like you had to, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I was like really close to playing mine, but then I thought, okay, we're already losing an idol, so like I'll just keep mine, and then bam, just both out at the same time.
Before transitioning back to Keenan, who had you told about your idol? It sounds like you told Knight about your idol. Who else knew explicitly about your idol?
I told Knight, and Keenan was there. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. I told those two.
There's a little blue thing.
Yeah.
So, Keenan, can you walk us through how this round happened for you?
All right. So, I've got lots to say. I hate to say this, but I've got lots to say after this too. But so this round, I was just really tired of being cast under the shadows of other players, whether it be Tyler, Stevie, Jenny, Knight. Like they all had like. I know lots of people don't take the word resume too seriously, but to get a job, you're going to need a resume to get a job. And this is the big job. This is the big one. And so it's like, if you say that you don't value a resume, you're horseshitting. You are horseshitting to the extreme. A resume is everything. It's just people who call it resumes that hate it. You just don't call it a resume. That's the thing. So I wanted to build my resume, and I just said, you know what? I don't want to be the goat taken to the end. This is a move for me. I'm going to play my idol. And you know what? Unfortunately, since I hadn't told Luke, who I was actually planning to take to the final two, sorry, Jenny.
Oh.
Hey, you knew at the final tribal council. You knew at my jury speech. But at that time, I just... I was really tired of just being cast under the shadow, and I wanted to prove that I'm not that type of person. I had a very gut instinct that the votes were going to be for me, because I had the L. Steve is perfect this way. He planted a good seed in my head, and it showed the player he was, and that's a good player he was. He said, I'm a little sketchy about your idol, Keenan, and I'm really nervous about it in the game. That's just a Stevie impression. He's just easy to impersonate. It's nothing against him. I love the guy. He's a great friend. He had my vote locked actually when he put a single hand blindside on me. So, so I play that. I waste it. I'm like, damn it. But I mean, honestly, my plan, like honestly, looking back, what I really wish I did differently afterwards, I wish I looked a little bit more for Thyatira's idol. For the Thyatira, I wish I looked for the Thyatira idol. Because no one ever found it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so your tribe got clues to that pre-merge idol that you all never found. And to be fair, that pre-merge idol was only valid pre-merge. So I don't think finding it come merge would have been useful.
It was only pre-merge?
Yeah, so the idol hidden at your original tribe sites only were functional till the final 11. However, after you played your idol, it was rehidden.
Oh.
Hmm. Like,
Could
oh,
it have-
no, Knight found it. Knight found my idol.
Yes. Could Steven, could the pre-merge idols have been used as fake idols by players post-merge, or were they out of the game?
Oh, I'm sure that would have been fine if you tried to bluff with it. I don't think we'd have any issue with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. But I just hope I'm not cutting anyone off here. There's lots I gotta say. I want to divulge a little bit, but not cut anyone off.
So two things before we move past Final Seven. First of all, Keenan, cut the cord. Tell us about this phrase. Tell us the history of this phrase.
Okay. So there was a Simpsons comic book I read when I was 13, and this exchange student from Kansas, like the student from Kansas, is convincing everyone to grow corn in the fields, and it's turning all the kids into mindless zombies. And Lisa and Bart escape from a grain silo that they're about to suffocate in, and then Lisa asks Bart, Bart says he's got a plan, and Lisa's like, "I'm all ears," and Bart's like, "Cut the corn," me kind of meaning cut the crap, and then Lisa's like, "I was only being figurative," and Bart's like, "No, cut the corn. It's what's turning these kids into zombies, so let's cut the corn." Like they're corn growing zombies. So
Actually,
I
love that quote.
So I thought just because of a comic book that was an actual thing being said. Cut the corn. So I just said, yes. I said, you know what? Cut the corn. It's time to cut the corn. I have the idol. And I was hoping it would be a huge play that I had votes. Like, I'm playing it, but honestly, I just wish, like, I didn't want to go out like James from China. But I felt I had to build up myself a little bit more. Tyler said himself. I mean, honestly, he did. While I'm not comfortable with people talking about, like, honestly, I love Tyler's interview. I love Tyler as a person. He said what was on his mind, which only Tyler can get away with. Whether it's anybody in any room, he could get away with anything. That's Tyler Kakuno for you. But wasn't the most comfortable with him saying I had a social issue. And I want to explain that too. I want to explain why he thinks I have a preconceived notion. But that'll wait till after this. I'm not comfortable with people saying I have the social issue, but for Tyler, I could actually recognize that he put it in a picture-perfect way, actually, and just simply said, I have a social issue, which I do have, I will say, and I'll be honest about that. And for him to actually, like, he said it, but he didn't exactly say what it was, so he actually executed it really well. So he actually handled saying that really well, and so I really felt that since I have a social issue in my life that has hindered me since I was 3, I felt I really need to do something for myself and just say that I'm not this follower guy. And it really wanted that 500. I wanted to just make a move. I wanted to be respected. I didn't want to make it to the final 2 and just say, Keenan, what the fuck are you doing here? I got voted the least deserving, for hell's sake. But the preconceived notion that Tyler's talking about is because, I mean, honestly, why I voted for Luke to win has nothing, nilch, to do with Dylan's race or orientation. In fact, when Dylan actually just opened up emotionally about it, it got me on the verge of voting for Dylan, honestly. But I wanted to stick true to my word. It was because Luke and I had a really good friendship out there. I felt really well connected with Luke. He's a great guy. And since I was Luke's good friend, he might vouch for that. I don't know if he will, but I felt like Luke's friend. And I really saw the part in his game that I was trying to play. He had a desire to make up for his mistakes from the last time, and I respected that very much, which is why I voted Luke. Why Tyler thinks I have a preconceived opinion was because there's a Survivor player in Marquesas, John Carroll, who's my least favorite player of all time. He's my least favorite. And I actually said, John Carroll's such a wuss, he's a baby. And I didn't say that because, like, have you heard of John Carroll, Kirk? From Marquesas?
Absolutely.
He's one of my least favorite players of all time because
why?
He was willing to play the backstabbing game, more than willing to, which is okay. More than okay, actually good to be willing to play the backstabbing game. But when he got caught, when he got caught and a 21-year-old girl decided to flip and get the better of him and call him out on his bullshit and say, sorry, yeah, you're not going with us. Goodbye. Like, he was willing to do the betraying thing. He betrayed Gabe in the pre-merge. And then he ended up showing his true colors when he chopped in the coconut challenge. He revealed that Nalia and Pascal were not in the order. And when Nalia turned on him, he was like, you know what? I'm going to vote for Vesepia because I wish Nalia apologized because she for backstabbing me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You're willing to backstab people yourself? You have no fucking reason to be that bitter and just say, why the hell should I give you my vote? So honestly, it has nothing to do with John's orientation. It had everything to do with the fact that he was a baby. He handled his elimination like a fucking baby. John Hennigan from David versus Goliath handled his elimination like a freaking pro. Like, he voted for Nick to win because he was executing his elimination. Fast forward to my elimination. When I find out Stevie is the single hand that takes me out, that turns, like, I'm going into Final 6 actually expecting to go home. Like after Jenny's eliminated, I'm expecting to be next. I forfeited that challenge for the idol just to go all out because I know, you know what? I'm next anyway. I will forfeit the challenge. I wouldn't have won the challenge. It was it was a difficult story. You had to put word by freaking word. And so honestly, and Knight's Idol was my last hope. I was pulling for Knight to win, but honestly, had any circumstance but Stevie winning immunity won out, Stevie was going to go home. And when I went to write my vote, I actually got super comfortable. I got really comfy. I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a plan. Knight and I are going to execute a plan together. It's going to be Knight's plan, but I mean, I'm going to be a part of it, and I'm going to have the idol to show for it later. And honestly, Stevie. So then Stevie casts a lone vote for me. Knight plays his idol. Stevie's immune, so he single-handedly turned my expected vote into a complete blindside from the left that I actually only saw coming. I only saw it coming when Stevie was announced immune. Only saw it coming. And as a result, when I found out Stevie was my single-hand blindsider, he had my vote locked. Stevie actually had my vote locked because I felt complimented, honestly, because he respected my game. That's what I take a backstab as, to me, a respect to my game. So if I went out early on Thyatira, and let's just say the jury started there, I would have voted for the person who executed my elimination. So that is why I don't like John Carroll, because he couldn't grasp the fact that a 21-year-old girl beat him to the punch.
Wait, so let's connect this, Keenan. So you said you told that to Tyler, and you think that's why Tyler made the assumption that maybe you voted for Luke because he wasn't Dylan. I don't know how else to say it.
Because John Carroll was a gay man. John Carroll was a gay man, and me
he
and
is
Joe
to this day.
No, yeah, that doesn't change. That doesn't change with anybody. And honestly, I'm not homophobic at all. I'm quite an advocate, actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I have no preconceived notion about that. Could I tell Stevie was gay off the bat? Duh. But I mean, you don't need to be a brain surgeon. But honestly, I think because when I said to Tyler, I said John Carroll's a wuss, and he's like, Keenan, be careful with that term. That's used for people of that orientation. Keenan, be careful. So that is why Tyler, I think, thought I had that preconceived notion.
Okay.
And honestly, and it was off-putting. I'm a little upset that it's off-putting to production for me to advocate for Luke. Yet when Tyler advocates for Luke, it's like, oh, Tyler, you're a good lawyer. I think since also because I have a social issue, it's a little more nitpicked. So where people say, Keenan, you're so close-minded. Open up your mind. Come on. You need to learn better social skills. Come on. And that's kind of what it feels like. But no harm, no foul.
Absolutely. Keenan, I think you've made it very clear why Tyler had that assumption and why it is not true from your perspective.
Yes.
It makes complete sense to me now.
Thank you. And honestly, Tyler's not wrong. Like, if he thought that genuinely, that's not necessarily a wrong thing. But also, if he's going to make that preconceived assumption, then maybe that reflects his own thoughts on the situation. Like, I'm not going to out-philosophy Tyler by any means. He's got that down to a halt. But, so, honestly, Tyler overanalyzes anything, so he's for thinking the way he does. He's not wrong. He's not wrong for thinking the way he does. That's just Tyler. That's
Tyler.
what he's. Yeah, and I love him. I was just out with him at night in Kelowna. I conquered the Coquihalla to go visit those freaking friendly rivals.
One of
And-
my favorite things about Tyler in season 5, I don't think this is a spoiler, is he would use words that nobody else understood, and I would like kind of understand it, and I would giggle. I'd be like, tee hee, and then Tyler would look at me and be like, "You get me."
Ah.
Oh man, that's Mr. Kakuno.
Yeah,
But I mean,
he's a smart guy.
words that people don't know. Who the hell is he? Tarzan? Like,
So, just to kind of wrap things up here, following your vote outs, what were your thoughts coming in the jury, and how did it evolve into your eventual jury vote?
Well, like for me, I knew that if Stevie got to the end, I would definitely be voting Stevie. I think he played an amazing game. But then obviously he left, and then it was Luke and Dylan. And for me, I really loved Dylan's speech. It really got me. And also like the way he played. Like I had no relationship with Luke whatsoever, so like I don't really see why I would. And I did know that he was gonna win. I kind of knew that he was gonna get the votes. So I was like, no, I'm gonna give it to Dylan. So I was very happy with my vote. I'm glad I voted him because he played a great game. And he built like a relationship with the people that he was supposed to go against, and I really appreciated that. So that was why I voted Dylan. And I think we know why Keenan voted Luke, because I think you reiterated you talked about that before. But actually, really quickly, can I talk about my game and how I felt about it? Like really quickly.
Yeah, no, please encapsulate.
Yes, totally.
Okay, so I thought I didn't like how I played at all. Like I was very unhappy with my game. So if I ever get the honor of playing again, it's gonna be so fun and very different because my mindset was not there at all, and you can kind of see it in the confessionals. And I was like watching myself. I was like, oh my gosh, like why are you playing? But like for me, I think I do believe I can play like a good social game, and I was thinking like maybe next time I can just talk about how I'm very helpful. I'm a very capable ally, so like let's help each other get to the end. And I'm not gonna like reveal everything, but I would love to be like a little trickster. I think that would look really well on me, but I would have to play with people that really know the game. So like probably like Tyler and Knight. Again, I think that would be really fun. And so they can help me like figure out how to trick people in like a good way. And I think that'd be super fun. And yeah, like I really wish I could have played a more fluid game, but just how everything turned out, how like Aiden and Andrew were like already allianced with Tyler, and how I was the only girl, and how our tribe kept winning. Like everything kind of just was a perfect storm for me to, I guess, like play how I played, and then get 7, and then. Yeah, so like I think next time will be much better. I definitely want to be a challenge beast. I think I can. I think I definitely can get there, but I just have to practice. Like everybody did their homework, and I was like the dummy that didn't. So I think I could play a way better game.
Keenan, how would you recap your game? Are you happy with it? If you were to play another game, would there be something you'd change or do differently?
If me keeping my clothes on will get me back for All-Stars, I will pay to have them stitched on my body. I've said it before. I'm going to pay to have them stitched. So the clothes stay on. The clothes stay on. And honestly, in certain aspects, unless it comes down to the wire, then yeah, it's off. But honestly, it's like a lot of aspects of my game, I actually would not change. Like the obvious, I would change the very peak obvious of my game. And honestly, the thing I notice is that when I rewatch my scenes, when I have the idol on me, I have power. I lost that power and got voted out the next time when I lost that power. So I would keep power on me a little bit more. And honestly, looking back at the Stevie vote, I wish I convinced Knight secretly. Oh, Tyler. And then because we swapped our votes to Tyler, Tyler was a dead man, and that would have been looking good on me per se. But I mean, honestly, I am very, very happy that Stevie got the pride in executing my expected vote into a blindside. But honestly, looking back, I would have kept that idol on me a little longer. I would have told Luke I had the idol just to build a better rapport with him. And honestly, the rest of the things in my game, I would not change. I mean, because the thing I learned the most out in this game, and I say this for everybody who wants to apply to Survivor BC, be the person you are. But because when I was in this game, I found 13 people that I could just be me around and not have to worry about anything. And I honestly, I can't be happier. I actually, I felt more myself than anybody. And I never have been able to be that until then. I was never able to be just out, like the character. I was a character, but the character was me. I portrayed Keenan Lucas. And that's the one thing that I'm going to keep with that was the biggest part of my game, just being the person I am. And I took that with me. And when I found out I couldn't lie as well as I could, I used the honesty card and told more people about my idol, which kept me actually safe. And in the long kind of kept me safe until I wasted it and played it. But I mean, having the people out there I will value them for the rest of my life. All production, all the people I played with, even the 3 pre-merge Ephesus, I think they're really cool people. Liam, Matt, and Kevin are awesome. And I will play that same way. I'm going to play that same way. I'm not going to change my game. I put it in the words of Keith Nail. I'm going to tweak it a bit. I'm just going to tweak it a bit. I'm gonna lay. I mean, this is for anyone applying to All Stars. You didn't hear it from me. I'm just gonna be kind of laying low. I'm gonna wait for someone else to approach me because I went in there just wild, over strategizing, over analyzing everything. It led me to be definitely someone who was out there in the tribe. Definitely was a target early on, but I managed to still stay safe by forming that solid alliance on Thyatira with Knight. Like Knight, my number one target the first day ended up becoming my number one at the very end. Like he was, and well, you were out before me, so honestly, it would have been you tail end to finish if you outlasted Knight. If you outlasted Knight, then yeah, it's you, of course. But I mean, I'm only going by logistics here. But no, you were my number one start to finish. I mean, bitch was my ride or die, but you were the first person I allied with. So, you were the first ally I had. But I mean, I definitely will still have that same kind of notion of selecting players I wanted to play with, wanted to bond with, and but I think the best idea for this time is to be a little less loud, have people kind of come to me, and
I think I'm the opposite. I think I need to play the opposite. I need to be more loud and more like myself, because being the only girl on a tribe of a cast of all boys, I immediately instinctively just wanted to just lie low. But I don't think that's really how that's really me. I really want to take charge and really have fun and maybe have some drama, create some little here and there. But I don't think I could do that. I don't think that would have worked for me, because people would, it's a lose-lose. People would be like, oh, she's playing really hard and she's the only girl. I'm gonna get her out. She's a huge threat. Blah blah blah. So I don't know, but I think lying low for this was pretty good, a good idea for me. I mean, I got 7, so.
I was just gonna say that you got 7th, you got 6th. In my opinion, those are amazing placements. I think that's fantastic, especially Keenan. This is your first time playing. I mean, think about it, Keenan. You were only 3 rounds away from the final tribal council, 3 or 4, depending on if you know. So that's incredible. That's amazing. And I like that you both have already thought about your game and I like that you both are interested in playing again. That's what I love.
Mhm.
And Keenan, I just want to touch base with how emotional you got when you were talking about your fellow castmates and the experience you went through. We hear this time and time again, and that's what really created this live reality games group. Is we talked about how these small communities form, and then they overlap because Jenny will play in another series, or Steven will play in another series, and this family just keeps growing and growing, and that those feelings are so legit. Even though somebody blindsided your ass, you have
Yes.
you have love for them. It's weird. It's so
Yes.
weird.
It's so
Stevie
beautiful.
Yeah.
single-handedly you know what? I like Stevie definitely. Like he was a target because I'm thinking he was going to be a weaker guy by how he tossed my football on night zero. Like I brought a football as my luxury item. But I was tossing like okay, he's gonna be the weaker one. He didn't toss it that well. But no, I grew to really like Stevie. I even told Stevie at Final Six before I was voted out like that. You have done so much out here to really prove yourself. You've made yourself very worthy out there, and that you could. And anyone who doesn't like you back home, you could tell it straight to them that you've gotten more out out there than anyone else. And Stevie and I had definitely some moments on the island of Patmos as well when we got divided, and he was saying that how he didn't interact with heterosexuals well, people just very not minority people out there, and how he had a hard time interacting, and this allowed him to interact with those people a lot better. And honestly, like I already respected Stevie enough, but when I actually learned, I was on the jury when I learned this. I didn't know who voted for me, but when I learned that Stevie was the real reason I went home, I'm like, you're a gamer. You're a gamer, dude. And I won that instant respect, and we became friends like right away with that. And I even messaged him saying, good job on executing, like on turning my expected vote into a blindside.
Yeah, like I loved everybody. Everybody was amazing. I'm so happy to, even if it was a cast of all boys, like I loved it. I had a great time. I'm so excited to play again if I get the chance. And I just want to say thank you guys for, doing these interviews and like being a huge part of the Survivor community. Like it's just so amazing. This is like such a great community. I'm so excited to be a part of it. And like let's go. Like let's have fun and like do crazy moves together.
I love it.
It's gonna be good.
Jenny, it's been amazing getting to know you. I can't wait to watch you again because I know you'll play again someday. And Keenan, same with you. It's been a pleasure. I certainly can't wait to watch you with your clothes on the whole time. I think it'll be fantastic. And Steven, this has been a long one for us with a lot of technical difficulties.
It works out.
And we survived, the name of the game. So thank you guys, everybody at home watching. There's a lot more podcasts this week. Tomorrow, we are going to talk to both Dylan and Luke. So if we want to hear a little bit more spicy details, I'm sure they'll bring it, or at least Dylan will for sure. And other than that, there is another old school podcast on Thursday where we're going to talk about a series called Real Foot. In their first season in 2012, I think it was, a small group of people played in, I think it was Tennessee. I'm not the historian, but we're going to find out all the details of what went down before Facebook Live. I'm very pumped. And there may be one more podcast about Survivor Michigan on Friday. So we have so much content, and all of you guys that are watching this late or watching this live, thank you guys for coming on. Give our YouTube a like, our Facebook a like, something a like, I don't care. But if you want to talk about this stuff, we have so many opportunities. We would like to have you, so hit up the main page. And again, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Kirk. Thank you,
Thank you.
Steven.
Thank you.
It was awesome. You guys rock.